Hey everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for a behind the scenes look as I make some leaves to go on the weekend soap. I've already got my soap dough ready to go, so let's go and make them. Alright, so I have already raided the soap dough box and I found out some various shades of green, because when you look at Wattle Leaves they usually have lots of different shades in them. Now this is just one variety of wattle. There are so many different ones here in Australia, and sometimes you get these really nice long skinny leaves, sometimes you get a little bit more of a flat squatter leaf that aren't so pointed, and then you get leaves where you have the stem and then lots of little leaves coming off the sides of it. Then the flowers are all different as well. This particular wattle that we've got growing in our garden will actually produce long sort of fluffy yellow flowers, whereas there's also a lot of wattles out there that do these tiny little balls of flowers as well. They're usually always yellow and always look really fluffy. So you can see this one is starting to come into bud, and there are lots of buds on the tree, and it's just outside the front of my shed. But today we're going to make some of the leaves and we'll do the actual flower buds when we come time to making the soap on the weekend. So what I'm going to start off by doing is grabbing some of this sort of darker green soap dough that I've got, and then just to add a little bit of extra colour into it, I've got this lighter green, and I'm just going to mush the two together until they're kind of mottled, and then I'm going to roll it out. Alright, so I'm happy with how that has mushed together. I don't want to change the colour, I just want to get those little speckles of the lighter green through there. So what I'm now going to do is just squish that out just a little bit to get it started. I have got some biodegradable film on my mat here, and I'm just going to place that so it's in between the two pieces of film. And I found this is the easiest way to get the rolling pin to work. When I've put it in between pieces of greaseproof paper, I find that it just doesn't roll out very well. It slips and slides and it's just really difficult. But when I put it between the biodegradable film here, I find that I can actually roll it out nicely and I get a really nice smooth finish on it. So let's get this one rolled out flat. I'm going for about half a centimetre thick, which is, I believe, is about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I've got myself a sharp little knife here, and I am just going to work with my leaves as a bit of a reference, and we're going to just use the tip of the knife to cut a rough shape for these leaves. Now they don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be the same. What I am aiming for is to make them small enough so that each bar of soap will end up with its own leaf. Now I'm taking this out the most difficult way, but I want to show you how it has come up so far. So that is our first leaf, and I have actually just bent it up a little bit as I've pulled it out, which I am happy with because the leaves are never flat, so I will be actually shaping these to go on the top of the soap as well. So let's make a couple more here. Now I want to probably put at least 2 onto each bar, and I want them to be different sizes as well. What I'm going to do this time is just put the outline of my leaf here, and I'll leave that extra bit of soap around for now, and I'll show you an easier way of actually pulling it out. And what I find the easiest is to peel away the excess, because it doesn't matter if you destroy or damage that excess sort of bit of soap, then you can get to the leaf a lot easier. And again, we'll just shape that up a little bit. So I'm going to get a few more of these cut out, and then I will show you what I'm going to do to them next. there, we've got those sort of lot done. All of this excess, all I'm going to do is roll this back out flat, and I'm going to make some more leaves. So all the leaves are now cut into shape, and you know what, they probably don't look like very much right now, but they will all come together once we get them on the soap. Now with wattle leaves, generally they do have this really deep yellowy gold in them, which kind of highlights some of the veins that are in the actual leaves. So what I'm going to do, in this little container I have some 70% rubbing alcohol, which I have mixed in with some Opulence Gold mica. And yes, I do have more than just Extravagance Gold. This is Opulence, and it's this really deep dark gold mica that is just going to be absolutely perfect for adding a little bit of color onto these leaves. So what I've got, as I said, I've got my mica and rubbing alcohol, and I've just got a paintbrush here. I'm going to dip in. I'm going to actually wipe most of that mica back off so I don't end up with a big puddle. In fact, I might just pick that up in my hand and do it. So I should only have a very, very small amount of mica in my brush now, and I'm just going to very, very lightly brush over the top, and that will give it just a little bit of extra definition, texture, a little bit more interest. And as you can see, I've bent that leaf around a little bit just to give it a little bit of added dimension when we put it onto the soap. So I am making sure that before going in onto the leaf, I am taking off as much of that mica out of the paintbrush so I don't end up with any really big globby bits. I just want the mica to be just there, sort of thing, because when you look at the leaves it's only just very, very light, and you don't get to see it until you really are up very close. I just want this to be some very, very light markings. Okay, so our little leaves are all painted up and they are ready to go on the soap. They might not look like very much right now, but once we get them on the top of the soap, they are going to look just as I intend them to look. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I make my wattle leaves, and until the weekend's video, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye!